when we note rising, falling on the abdomen, we can experience tension, tightness, movement, vibration, etc. These are characteristics of the Vāyo Dhatu. So this one is the base of Vāyo Dhatu, the base of objects, sense organ. And then from the combination of sense organ and sense object, there is the responsive element, and the touching consciousness take place. So this one was explained yesterday, especially regarding with the Vāyo Dhatu element. So literally, Vāyo Dhatu is translated the air element or pressure. In daily use and in everyday language, it can be translated into tension or tightness, movement, etc. When we breathe out, our abdomens become released, and we can feel the releasing. And the touching can be of two types, connected with the objects. When the object is since object is rough and unpleasant, the touching also unpleasant, not pleasurable. Sometimes touching is smooth, and then pleasurable feeling take place. So these tension, tightness, releasing, so they are all connected with the object. So when we observe, when we watch the touching, or the sensation or the touching, the moment they take place, then we are expected to experience one or three phenomena. Maybe sometimes we can experience the touching object, tension or tightness, or sometimes the sense object, sometimes sense organ, or sometimes the base of sense. So one or three phenomena can be experienced if we observe or watch the touching process the moment they take place. Unique. So sometimes we watch the phenomena the moment they take place, or for example rising, falling, or any activity. We are able to see we are able to experience the toughness or softness. It is the experiencing of the Paṭavī Dhatu, or the realization of Paṭavī Dhatu. So sometimes we may experience the sense organ, where the sense object touch or strike. Maybe any part of the body we can experience where the touching appears. That is the experiencing of the sense base, the sense base or touching. And then sometimes we may experience the combination or contact between the sense base and the sense organ. This is a phassa. We are experiencing phassa, contact, mental contact. And then sometimes, depending on the contact, good or bad, there are sensations, good or bad, pleasurable or unpleasurable, take place. Then we can experience the sensation, the feeling. For example, when we watch the rising, falling of the abdomen, we may feel the piercing sensation or sharpened sensation. This is the sense object It's quite rough and severe. So we can experience this sense object if we watch it the moment it takes place. And then sometimes we may notice the place where the sensation takes place. Any part of the body where the sensation takes place is called the sense base. Sometimes maybe it is the buttock. We may feel as if we sit on a stone, so we feel very tightness or hardness under our buttock or hip. This type of sensation can be experienced when we observe the touching. So that's physical part of the body is called sense base. Sometimes we can experience that sense base. Sometimes that sensation or the pleasant or unpleasant. When we walk, we note the lifting, pushing forward and dropping. Then when we lift our foot, sometimes we experience a lightness or the movement or the motion. Or when we push forward, we can experience the vibration or motion. And when we step down, on the ground or floor, we can experience the touching sensation with the floor, between floor and our soul. Sometimes, depending on the ground or floor, we can experience the touching good or bad, pleasant or unpleasant, pleasurable or unpleasurable, and depending on the ground or floor. Sometimes maybe we step on the sofa or the very good carpet, and then we can experience the smooth touching, smoothness or touching. Sometimes we may step on a rough road or stone, rough road. Then we can experience the roughness of the floor or road. So this is the sensation, pleasurable and unpleasurable, depending on the object which come and strike on the base organ or sense base, the physical part of the body. When we step on the sofa, for example, we may feel our physical body light. Sometimes when we step on a hard road or floor, and then we may feel our physical body heavy. So we can experience this type of sensation also. So that's why it is said that Kakala Lakana Vayoda Patvi Dhatu. The characteristic of the Patvi Dhatu other element is roughness or smoothness. So there are in our body the 20 types of the Patvi Dhatu which can be experienced. On those 20 types of Patvi Dhatu, any other elements are based. For example, when we feel sweated, this liquidity we can feel on the base of the Patvi Dhatu as element. Sometimes we experience heat or warmth. This is also based on the earth element. So this Patvi Dhatu earth element can be compared with the earth. The earth is the base for everything, living or non-living. So in the same way, in our physical body, this Patvi Dhatu earth element is the base for any other physical element. So heat or warm or cold, or they are all based on this earth element. And then the color or sound or smell or taste, they are also based on this earth element in our body. So this Prithvi Dhatu, its function is the base function. The function is as a base. So it sometimes holds. We can experience this earth element as a something they holding our physical body. In Pali, Sampatechana Rasa. This is another type of function. So any phenomena, physical phenomena, are held by this other element on it. So we can experience its function like this as well. So for the local people, Sayadaw want to lead a poem to repeat after Sayadaw. And then another element we can experience as a touching is the Tejo Dhatu, which is translated in Burmese fire. So we Burmese translated Tejo as fire. Vapor or temperature. So it can be cold or warm, or heat, or hot, cold or warm. So they are all called Tejo Dhatu. They are all come under Tejo Dhatu. Actually, the coldness or heat or warmness or warmth are vapor, or the nature of the vapor or temperature. They are relatively regarded as a cold or warm or heat. Actually, they are all Tejo Dhatu, the vapor element or the fire element or the temperature element. So as a vapor element, it can all the time flying up, and never go down without any pressure. Normally, naturally, it always come up as its nature. So we can experience this type of temperature. It is called Jirana Tejo. Or sometimes our bodily physical temperature maybe raise up when we have fever. Temperature rise up. This type of fever or temperature is also Tejo Dhatu. It can be experienced if we watch it the moment it takes place. This type of temperature or the Tejo element is called Santapana Tejo. It's a very high temperature Tejo Dhatu. It is quite clear when we have the fever and such as typhoid and etc. When our temperature reach 104 or 5, this Tejo Dhatu is very obvious to us to experience. This is Dahana Tejo, or the firing or burning Tejo, the burning element. Because of this burning element, we may lose our hair. Sometimes our skin also burn up. This is Dahana Tejo, the burning Tejo. And another Tejo Dhatu which can be experienced is the Pasaka Tejo. This is it can be translated into the power of digestion power. So this, depending on this power, the food we eat can become digested. So this Tejo Dhatu also a type of element which can be experienced during practice. So Tejo Dhatu means heat or cold or warm. Sometimes you can experience it as a lightness. When we walk, sometimes we can experience something behind pushing forward, or something behind, something pushed up underneath. This is also a type of Tejo Dhatu we can experience during walking practice. So if we watch all the time our physical activities, we can experience these elements of Tejo Dhatu. So in our body, this Tejo Dhatu makes physical phenomena get mature and old. So this is called Jirana Tejo. So this Jirana Tejo, this Tejo Dhatu, all the time burning up our physical phenomena. So we have to suffer the poor eyesight. Our skin also shrink, and our weight also bent down. Sometimes our ear becomes deaf. These are all carried out by this Jirana Tejo. This Jirana Tejo makes our physical body mature and get older and older. So when this Jirana Tejo is very strong, very severe, and then we have to suffer hair loss, and our skin also burn up. So we have our skin burn up. So this is a Jirana Tejo. Another Tejo is Paripasaka. This function of this Tejo Dhatu is Paripasaka Rasa. This makes us our physical body mature. And then it makes us our physical bodies smooth and tender. It's just like a steam. Just like we steam our rice or the vegetable. When we cook rice is well cooked, but we need to steam it so that the rice is becomes smoother. So this Tejo Dhatu function is also make our physical body smooth and tender. So this is also another function of the Tejo Dhatu. Sometimes make this Tejo Dhatu make our physical body feel the light or lightness. Especially when we walk, we can experience our physical body become lighter and lighter. This is the function of the Tejo Dhatu, which we can experience the moment we are walking. So when we practice meditation sitting for some time, for long, then there's no proper blood circulation. Then there's no proper flow of heat or Tejo Dhatu throughout our body. And then we feel a type of irritable sensation or hot sensation. Then we feel stiffness somewhere in our body. It is due to Tejo Dhatu, which cannot flow smoothly throughout our body because we sit for long. Then we need to stretch our limbs and hands or legs so that the Tejo can flow throughout our body, so the better circulation take place. Otherwise, the whole body becomes stiff. We have numbness or cramp. Then sometimes we may feel afraid or stroke. So we need to stretch our physical body so that the tejo dhatu flow smoothly throughout our physical body, proper blood circulation, and then we can experience our physical body is become smooth and released or flexible, especially when we stretching our limbs, and or sometimes we may massage our physical body. Then surely we can experience our physical body become tender and smooth and flexible. These are all characteristics of the tejo dhatu. When this tejo dhatu come into our physical body or the flow smoothly through our physical body, we can experience flexibility of the body. And this tejo dhatu make us our physical body flexible and smooth sometimes. For example, a type of bean. This is a dry bean, so it's quite hard. We call veggie. This type of bean is quite hard. When we put it into the water for some time, this becomes smooth and tender. It is because of tejo dhatu in other aspects. This is a core element. Because of core, this bean becomes smooth and tender. This is another aspect of the tejo dhatu, tejo temperature element. So here especially heat or warmth is very obvious, which is always making our physical body smooth and flexible. So if we observe that tejo dhatu, the moment they take place, we can experience this type of phenomena as a heat or warmth, or which makes us our physical body flexible. So these are all Phottava Rupa, these are touchable elements, which is constituted of three elements: Prithvi, earth element, and tejo, the fire or temperature element, and vayu, earth element. These three elements are touchable. We can experience them as a touching. These are called the striker element. These three elements can be experienced, come and strike on in our physical part of the body. So we can experience them as a heat or warmth or cold, or sometimes tension, tightness, or the movement. So they are the only phenomena or elements arising and passing away from moment to moment. This is the base or striker element, base element, and responsive element. They are combinations arising and passing away, nothing else. So if we watch the phenomena the moment they take place, they are all obvious to us. For example, when we open our eye, or when we winking our eye, within a twinkle of an eye, we can experience these phenomena. If we keep our eye open without closing for a while, and then we can experience unpleasant sensation or irritation. So these are all elements. So we need to close our eye or twinkle our eye so that we can get rid of this unpleasant sensation. Then we can feel release when we close or twinkle our eye. So each and every moment, these three types of the elements, striker element, base element, and a responsive element, and then their combination and their interaction are very obvious. We have to watch all the time phenomena. The moment they take place, then we are bound to see them clearly. These three types of the phenomena and their function. So the rising, falling, or the sitting, touching, or stretching, bending, any activities, even the closing our eye or opening our eye, any movement, any activity can be noted. Then we are bound to see these three types of the phenomena and their function, their interrelation, interaction, and the striker element, the base element, and the responsive element at the moment of the touching. So last day, a yogi asked Sayadaw a question regarding 4 types of element, regarding the touching. Regarding touching, Sayadaw just explained only 3 elements, 3 essential elements out of 4. There's a 4 essential elements, Patavi, Avo, Tejo, Vayo. But only 3 essential elements Sayadaw explains as a touching sensation. So it is because the Avo, the water element, is too subtle to be experienced clearly. So according to the literature, in harmony with the Pali Canon, this Avo Dhatu, the water element, is left out. So only 3 essential elements is regarded as a touchable element. But sometimes we can experience the solidity or the hardness. This is hardness is Patavi Dhatu. The solidity is the manifestation of the Avo Dhatu. Sometimes cohesiveness we can experience, just like a cotton. So sometimes we can experience the solidity or heat. Sometimes solidity or coldness. The cold and the heat are of course the Dhatu, temperature element. This solidity we feel is Avo Dhatu. So sometimes tension, tightness, we can experience the massive tension or massive experience the massive tension or massive experience the massive